There is a place in the US where murder is legal. It is literally called the Zone of Death. This all takes place in Yellowstone National Park. Here are the state lines, and you can see that the park crosses over into Montana and Idaho. And that is the problem. You see this little 50-mile strip of land in Idaho? That is where murder is legal, and here's why. In all criminal proceedings in the US, the jury has to live in both the state and the district in which a crime took place. In other words, if there is any crime that happens in this little strip of land, the jury in the trial has to be people that live in this little strip of land. The problem is that no one lives there, so the case would just get thrown out. Here is how things actually work. This is how your skin scabs over and heals over time. As you can see, your skin does a lot of work to protect you, so stop picking your scabs. Next, we have how ships are actually put into the ocean. As you can see, the ship is built on those ramps, and when it's complete, they just slide it off into the water and somehow it doesn't sink. Next, we have how dogs actually drink water. As you can see, they make these little bowls with their tongue and then just throw the water into their mouth. What would happen if the Queen murdered someone? So basically, anytime someone goes on trial in the UK, it's that person versus the Crown. In other words, it's the Queen versus you. Now, the only problem is the Queen can't actually prosecute herself. So yeah, the Queen can technically get away with murder, but it gets worse. Legally, no arrest can be made in the Queen's presence without her approving it. So if anyone ever tries to arrest her, she just has to say no. This school doesn't have any homework, tests, or any classes. At the Agora school in the Netherlands, life is super easy. For starters, everyone gets to customize their own desk, and these guys used a car. At Agora, students are allowed to use their phones and laptops whenever they want. A regular day at Agora goes something like this. First, students start brainstorming with their friends to find out what they should do that day. After that, it's project time, which can be in any of their major facilities, including woodshop. Then after lunch, there's this period called quiet time, where students are encouraged to meditate and sleep in these little pods. But I have to say, the absolute best part of this school is the students get to decide when they start and when they go home. 2021 has no chill. A group of South African shark hunters just accidentally rediscovered a population of fish that scientists thought to be extinct. The four-legged fossil fish known as the coelacanth predates dinosaurs. And the coelacanth is one of the only species to be rediscovered after going extinct. Would you want to be brought back to life centuries after you die? This may be possible thanks to organizations that cryogenically freeze people after death. This procedure costs anywhere from $30,000 to $200,000. They store bodies upside down in these tanks to protect their heads from damage. Hundreds of people and even some pets are currently frozen in these capsules. Welcome to ridiculous things going on around the world right now that for some reason you just haven't heard about. Part 23. A NASA satellite that is 14 billion miles from Earth has detected an intriguing constant hum sound. They say the faint hum is caused by constant vibrations near the satellite, and this is what they sound like. Next, freshly made plutonium from outer space was just found on the ocean floor. According to scientists, the extraterrestrial debris arrived to Earth within the last 10 million years. A Japanese oil company came across the plutonium a mile down in the Pacific Ocean by accident. And also on May 26, there will be a blood supermoon. China just landed their first rover on Mars today, and here's everything you need to know. China successfully landing their rover on Mars makes them the second country ever to do so, right after the United States. China says the rover's mission is to understand the distribution of ice on Mars. This information would help future human colonists sustain themselves on Mars.
If you weren't scared of the deep ocean already, just wait until you see this.
That was a giant squid that was just caught on camera hunting for the first time ever 2,500 feet deep in the ocean. That little light is a decoy acting as a jellyfish, which is what scientists use to lure the giant squid in to capture it on camera. Oh, and the giant squid in the video is 12 feet long, but is considered a baby.
You know, I do all my own stunts, obviously. I also do my own music.
So I recently came across this guy's account and it really worried me, and here's why it should worry you too. What this guy is doing is called a deep fake. Simply put, a deep fake is when someone else uses artificial intelligence to put someone else's face on theirs. And this gets really scary when you start to think of what this could be used for. This comment sums it up pretty well. This is scary. They can do this to anyone and be framed for something. For example, someone could put your face on theirs and make you say and do whatever they want, and for the most part, no one could tell the difference. Ridiculous science discovery of the day that you haven't heard about. Scientists just unveiled a machine that will refreeze the North Pole and fight climate change. The company Real Ice developed a prototype that drills into an ice cap and pulls water up to the surface. The water will then solidify in the chilling temperatures that reach lows of 58 degrees Fahrenheit. This would create a new layer of ice and thus help the ice caps from melting away forever.
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
You heard right. Just hours ago, the CDC announced that fully vaccinated people don't have to wear a mask or social distance. She said this is because of the continuing downward trajectory of cases and the scientific data of the performance of our vaccines. The CDC also said that unvaccinated people remain at risk of illness and death, and should remain masked and practice social distancing. What do you guys think about all of this? Back in 1977, NASA launched their Voyager 1 spacecraft into deep space, and now in 2021, it just found something pretty creepy. Voyager 1 is the farthest spacecraft from Earth, as it literally left our solar system almost 10 years ago. Since its launch, it has traveled over 15 billion miles, and it just now detected a faint, persistent hum somewhere beyond our solar system. To put this into perspective, Voyager 1 is beyond our solar system's border, which scientists thought was empty and desolate, but apparently they were wrong. And what's even more crazy is that Voyager 1 has been hearing this noise for the past 1 billion miles of its journey. It really makes you wonder what could be out there in the vast nothingness of space that we just haven't discovered yet. Back on January 4th, Donald Trump gave the US intelligence agencies 6 months to reveal to the public everything they know about UFOs. So that means on June 1st, the Pentagon will produce its most complete report to date on UFOs. This report will include discussions of incidents and sightings that cannot be explained with present-level human technology. And this gets even crazier as the former director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, said this.
Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public.
So he has not only confirmed sightings of UFOs around the world, but he also confirmed we should expect to hear more about them by June 1st. This is all going to be very interesting, and I will be sure to keep you guys updated if there's any more news. Recently, scientists discovered that the Earth is wobbling, and apparently it's our fault. The main reason this happens is because the location of the North and South Poles actually move. Scientists have known this for some time, but in recent years the poles have begun to drift faster than they have in the past. And they concluded this is because of climate change caused by humans. Basically, climate change is heating up the planet, which causes the poles to melt faster. And this new influx of water from the ice melting actually changes the way the Earth moves in space. And this is what is causing the Earth to wobble. Now, no one should start panicking, as this wobble isn't world-ending or anything like that. But we should start taking climate change more seriously before really bad things start to happen that we can't fix. This is my third video talking about the Chinese rocket that was falling uncontrolled back to Earth, and it will be my final one as we just got confirmation it finally made impact. At 10:30 p.m. EST on May 8th, many people captured videos of the rocket burning up in the atmosphere as it fell back towards Earth. It took a while for scientists to find the debris, but now we can confirm it crashed into the Indian Ocean just north of the Maldives. So thankfully it did land in the ocean and no one was hurt. Well, except for any unlucky fish that were at the wrong place at the wrong time. An asteroid traveling 37,000 miles per hour punched into Earth's orbit in 2018, and scientists just figured out where it came from. It created a fireball nearly as bright as the sun before breaking up and landing in southern Africa. After the rock was found, scientists began the task of tracing its origins and were very shocked with what they found out. They said the meteorite likely originated from the second largest asteroid in our solar system named Vesta. The meteorite that landed on Earth chipped off of Vesta after it impacted with another body around 22 million years ago. That means the meteorite was flying through space for 22 million years until it crash landed on our planet, which is crazy to think about. So I made a video about the Chinese rocket that is falling uncontrolled back to Earth, and the 5 million of you that saw it were wondering when exactly was it going to crash. Well, as it's been falling closer and closer to Earth's surface, scientists concluded that it will make impact on May 8th. And they say it will be the equivalent of a small plane crash scattered over 100 miles. But don't worry too much, as it has a 71% chance of landing in the oceans, as oceans make up most of the Earth's surface. But for now, I will keep you guys updated if there's any more news. Welcome to ridiculous things going on around the world right now that for some reason you just haven't heard about. Part 21. Scientists recently discovered the closest known black hole to Earth, and it's closer than you might think. They named it the Unicorn, and it is only 1,500 light years from Earth, which by space standards is pretty close. It is one of the smallest black holes ever discovered, but it is still 3 times the mass of our sun. And apparently scientists say that it was essentially hiding in plain sight, which makes you wonder what else is hiding in plain sight that we haven't discovered yet. But before everyone starts to freak out thinking that this black hole is gonna eat the Earth, let me tell you why you should not worry. The Unicorn might be the closest black hole to Earth, but it is still far away enough where it is completely harmless to us. A solar storm that lit up the entire sky in 1582 could hit the Earth again this century, and here is why that is not good news. First off, solar storms occur when the sun shoots out boiling hot plasma in the form of solar winds. The solar storm of 1582 lasted 3 days and stretched over all of Europe and Asia. Something like this happening today would cause catastrophic events. It would cause worldwide blackouts, billions of dollars in damages, and lots of deaths. And a solar storm, as strong as the one in 1582, is said to happen every century, so we are way overdue for one.
On Wednesday, a submarine with 53 people on it went missing near Indonesia in deep waters. But after countless hours of searching, this submarine is yet to be found.
Just a couple hours ago, news broke that the submarine was actually found. But the submarine was found in 3 different parts. An underwater robot found the lost submarine lying at the bottom of the ocean over 2,700 feet deep. The cause of the submarine sinking remains uncertain, and sadly, all of the crew is considered dead. Welcome to ridiculous stuff going on around the world right now that for some reason you just haven't heard about. Part 17. Japan is planning to release 1.25 million tons of radioactive water from a nuclear plant into the ocean. The radioactive water is currently sitting in about 1,000 tanks, but storage space is now running out. The radioactive water is from the Fukushima nuclear disaster, which was caused by the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, which was actually the most severe nuclear accident since the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Japan said that discharging the contaminated water into the ocean was deemed the cheapest and fastest solution. They plan to start releasing the water into the Pacific Ocean in 2 years. But don't freak out too much. Experts are saying that Japan is gonna dilute the water and it will have very little effect on the environment. But please let me know what you think about this in the comments. Welcome to ridiculous stuff going on around the world right now that for some reason you just haven't heard about. Part 20. A solar wind that is traveling over 1 million miles per hour is due to hit Earth today. And apparently the National Space Weather Prediction Center haven't really talked about it. But before everyone starts to say the world is about to end, just hold on a second. This chart shows the different strengths a geostorm can be, and the one hitting Earth today is a G1, which as you can see is all the way at the bottom. So a solar storm rated at G1 is considered the weakest. At most, it will cause power grid fluctuations, and it will slightly impact the satellites that orbit the Earth. But other than that, you should be just fine. Welcome to ridiculous things going on around the world right now that for some reason you just haven't heard about. Part 19. Last week, China launched a rocket for its space station which went really good and it made it successfully into orbit. But the launcher, which is the size of a 10-story building, also accidentally made it into orbit. And it is now falling back to Earth and no one knows where it's going to crash. It will crash sometime within the next 2 weeks, and nothing of this size has fallen to Earth in our lifetime, so this is major news. Now before everyone freaks out thinking the world is gonna end, just hold on a second. It will partially burn up in our atmosphere, and our oceans are very large, so the chances of it hitting you or a very large city is very low.